Linda, we're going to get into something really important today on the Small Business Show that is really critical, and I know we've talked about it continuously in some of the things that we do, with respect to branding and marketing and personal communications for businesses. And we've got a great guest here to talk about it today.
Thank you for coming along.
So I'm going to introduce Ellyn Winters from Ignition Communications, and she is really a very good person to talk to with respect to a lot of businesses, small businesses. I like the attitude, I really do. So Ellyn, tell us a little bit about what you do in your company.
Yeah, I'm a boutique, my firm is a consulting firm. It's a boutique marketing communications firm, so I work mostly in tech. I have clients that are outside of that. I've been in business about 10 years now. Most of my business has come through word of mouth, and it's really a range of services for clients, everything from mentoring of startups through to writing. Some clients see me as their writer, and sometimes I'm the boutique PR firm.
I love the word boutique. I've got a question.
Yeah, well, it sounds
techie.
Posh.
do you find that techie kind of clients don't really understand the process of the marketing and the branding?
The larger clients I have do, and so I have clients, locally like a D2L or a Unitron who absolutely understand branding, and I have teams that are very sophisticated that I'm working with as an extension of that team. The startups, there's degrees of familiarity with branding.
Because they're so excited to get their software and products out there.
Absolutely, and they're also a lot of times they're engineers.
Yes,
and so
it's a different mindset.
Absolutely, and so when it comes to marketing, often they'll start with the how. So they want to describe the speeds and feeds of the product and the intricacies of how it works.
Yeah.
And what I always try to get them to, hopefully as quickly as we can, is really what the customer why is, the problem that they're solving, and if they can really start talking to that, then they can start to build some really clear messaging that actually will allow them to connect with people emotionally.
So the why comes first.
It's, if you haven't got a why in the first place, so if there's not really a pain point, then the chances are that the business is probably not going to be that successful in terms of selling.
I could say you're my pain point.
You did. So the question I have is, it's really hard for them, and I certainly in the startup space, they're so focused on their idea or their product that they don't look at how they're going to sell it. So how do you bridge that with startups?
Well, and we do a lot of that work at the Accelerator Center, of course. So we wrap them with a management team of senior people. So I have a sales mentor as well, who is a counterpart. We have, people that do work on the product, of course, but we spend a lot of time with them, helping them understand, again, what that customer pain point is and how to communicate the value of their product. We help them with the positioning of it and the clarity of that, and really set clear sales goals. At the end of the day, it really, once the product is built or you've got a minimal viable product built, then it really does become all about sales and marketing.
What's after the why?
Well, it's then you have to build on that. So once you've figured out what the customer why is, it's really about then building customer champions for your product, and learning enough about that customer to be able to build a really sharp marketing plan. So I always challenge the clients I have, large and small, to really go back and believe it. I still have large clients who struggle with this as well.
I'm sure they do.
So it's really about going in and really doing a deep dive on that customer and understanding that ideally you've got a tribe that you are looking to attract to your product. So how does that tribe move? What do they read? What do they care about? Who influences them? Who are the elders in that tribe with the loudest voices?
I love it.
Right? So once we understand that, then we can really start to build a strong marketing plan.
I think that's an important point. Tribe.
That's Seth Godin.
The term, absolutely. The term you use is important because the team is critical. And finding all of those people that need to be part of that team. I think people even understand they don't even know how to market their product, never mind getting further than that. So building that team or that tribe is important.
There's the tribe inside your organization, but I'm talking about the tribe outside your organization, which is really sort of people congregate. And the thing is now, with the communication channels that are available to us, in the past, if you were trying to reach mothers with children with food allergies or breast cancer survivors, you would have to go and actually go to a group setting. It would be a physical kind of meetup. Where now you can communicate with people online. I mean, we all have people on Facebook that we are friends with who we've never met. And so people are able to come together, and word of mouth is able to to really grow exponentially very quickly.
I think that's an important point on the online perspective.
Yeah. But communication, I know you've talked to me personally a little bit how the communication is very important, isn't it, when you are helping to brand and market an organisation?
Yeah, absolutely.
And again, we're talking about the techie guys here, and sometimes communication's not key, is it, in those organisations? How do you get that bit over to them?
You know, I mean, at some point they probably have to bring somebody on their team that is an expert. So, you know, they do get to a point where we bring somebody in. So whether that's, you know, starting with a co-op student or whatever, I mean, usually these guys have very limited budgets.
Yeah.
So I will get them as far as we possibly can. But yeah, and you know, it's also understanding what people really care about. So what does that tribe that you're trying to reach, what do they care about? What is, you know, and it's not often about the product. It's usually about the customer success.
Definitely.
Right? So they want your customers, I don't care whether you're talking about, you know, 14-year-olds or you're talking about insurance executives, they want to hear what others that are part of their tribe, what experiences that they had, what successes that they had. So we need to wrap our communication around that. And then with a startup, you know, often it is actually the founder story. It can be their journey to market that is actually the most interesting part of their business.
So you really, really enjoy your job, don't you?
I love it, yeah.
The way you're talking to us and your eyes are shining.
I go back to the passion, right?
Shut up about passion.
You brought it up first today.
I absolutely love what I do.
Seriously though, so for our viewers who are watching us today, is this the kind of work, say the students at high school, if they want to be in your line of work and have their own business, how would they start? How would they get to know they're going to work their way up to it?
You know, I mean, gosh, it's, you know, because I really stumbled into my own business accidentally, so I'm probably not the best expert. I didn't do it with any kind of intent or purpose.
But you've got a skill set that helped you along the way.
Yeah,
what
absolutely.
Was that skill set?
Well, so my background is actually in public relations, and so the training there was really, you know, a big part of PR is actually writing, and so that's a craft. And so a lot of my clients, I do a lot of writing for clients, and so obviously honing your craft is really an important thing.
Good tip,
so if I had, you know, a student in front of me that's considering PR, they need to understand that writing is a huge part of this. This is not just kissing babies and shaking hands. It's writing. That's a skill set.
I think we've got some good programs in our local educational institutions.
Conestoga is a fantastic program.
It's good for bringing that forward. But I think the point that you raised a little earlier about the journey, about the founder's message, I don't think there's enough in terms of people using those client experiences or those stories, and that sort of gets into the writing side. That's a strong part of what you do.
And you know what? We as humans communicate in stories. You know, I'm going to tell you about my fabulous weekend that I had up at the cottage, or what just happened to me on my way here. That is how we communicate. And yet, when we come together to talk about business, we tend to go to facts and figures. And so one of the things I'm really passionate about is storytelling, and really understanding what are those stories that are going to resonate, you know, with a journalist or with a customer, you know, so to be able to relate experiences.
You can see online as well, the big corporate organisations that are telling the stories and the ones that are sharing the figures. I know which ones I like to follow and support, and I'm sure you do. That's gone now. That's gone out with the arc, hasn't it?
Yeah, well, you know,
there's a place for the facts and figures, isn't there?
Yeah, exactly. There is a place for it, but those can be wrapped in a story. And so you do see large brands. You know, you see the you know, the McDonald's of the world, or the Coca-Colas that are really embracing storytelling. And part of that is because the PR world has changed a lot. There's a lot. It's a tough gig for journalists these days, and so a lot of them have gone into, you know, different roles. Some of them into PR. And so corporations are now taking up that slack.
So could a new business survive doing all this on their own? I mean, I'd love them to come to you, but I mean, can they start the process of the marketing and communication alone, and then find someone to help them?
I think absolutely. I think it does. I mean, my encouragement to any small business is really know your customer. So really, and the other thing we tell young companies in particular, but large ones as well, is get small. So really focus on a market, because what that does is it allows you to have a repeatable sale. You build word of mouth because the references for, you know, customer A are going to be applicable to customer B. So get really small in your market. It sounds weird because people all want to be world domination, but we always say get small before you go big.
But you know, Ellyn, it's been great having you on the show.
Thank you
Ignition
so
Communications,
much.
You're really great. You're a great mentor to some of the local community inventors and like the Accelerator Center. So again, thank you for your time, and thanks for tuning in to this interview on the Small Business Show, and we'll be right back.